Hello friends, myself harpreet saini. Welcome to Anthropology in tutorial. Today we will discuss about the relationship of anthropology with other disciplines. So let's start. So in first, anthropology with earth sciences. Geology and geography, there are two subjects which are part of earth sciences, which are subjects of earth sciences. So paleontology is a part of geology. So, what is geology? What is paleontology? Paleontologists are the scientists who study the fossils, either plants or animals, of any time period and evolution of that fossils, and explain the evolution of that fossils in detail. There is a geological time scale. According to that, they give a position to that fossil according to their similar characteristics and taxonomic features of fossils, and they allot the position to that fossil. And there are different eras, period, age are given in a geological time scale. According to that, they match the characteristics and give and classify according to the taxonomy of that particular fossil and allot the position of that fossil in the time scale. So this geological time scale helps the anthropologist or paleoanthropologist to understand the fossils which is human species or human-like species or human ancestors. So they can allot the position of that particular human fossils. So according to that geological time scale, or geology or paleontology helps the paleoanthropologist to give the position to that fossils which were found from the site. So according to that, the paleontology and paleoanthropology are working together to give the position to the human-like fossils. Another thing, geology. Geology and geography, these are two subjects which explain in detail. Like geology and geography are the two subdisciplines come under earth sciences. Zoology is a discipline which study the solid, liquid, gaseous matter that contain the earth and terrestrial planets and explain the climate change of geological past and present. And there are special stratification in the earth, and there are number of fossils which are found from that stratification. So that stratification of fossils helps that stratification of land helps the anthropologist to understand in which time period these fossils were there, and what is the ways of life of that people, and what is because this stratification explain about everything, because there are a number of things which are found with these fossils which help to understand the ways of life of that natives which are found from that era. So geological time scale helps to allot the position to that fossils, and there are other things like ecofacts, artifacts or jewelry which are found from that stratification, so which help to allot the position or the understand the geography of that period. So in this way, geology helps the anthropologist to explain everything in a detail. So there are human-like species like Homo habilis or Homo erectus or Australopithecus, which made tools from the rocks. So that rocks help to understand the time period or geology or geography of that period, because there are number of like a sedimentary rock, metamorphic rock or igneous rocks. So like sedimentary rocks like limestone, sandstone, shale, gypsum, conglomerates. So these types of hominid ancestors made tools from these types of fossils like quartzite or metamorphic rock like quartzite, scoria or gneiss or slate or marble. So then the tools were found, and they can easily analyze that these type of rocks were found from this time period. So according to geological time scale, they give the position and analyze the environment of that period. So according to that, geology and geography help the anthropologist to give this position to the fossil and understand the geography and environment or surrounding of that period. So they easily explain about the fossils with the help of geology and geography. So geography is discipline which assists to gain the knowledge knowledge about different parts of the earth in addition to develop and understand about their location on a globe. Human geography covers those aspects or any kind or nation which associate with the geography with human factors of that area, such as society, their culture, economy and polity. There are natural calamities which causes many damages to the places, and number of people were died and fossils were buried in the earth. And these fossils or bodies found from these sites, and these hand over to the anthropologists, and natural calamities causes impact on that earth. What is the geography of that area in which fossil person live? In this place, this type of people live. This type of knowledge helps the anthropologist to explain the fossils or about the accused person in detail. So in this way, geology and geography helps the anthropologist to explain about the fossils or a human society or a geography of that particular type of person live in that particular time period or in that particular geography, because our morphological and physiological characters or our body morphology made according to the geography of that environment in which that person lives. So because there are Caucasoids, Mongoloids and Negroids, the anthropologists give a specific position to that particular type of person, because their characters or their smetoscopy, their anthropometric measurements are different in these different types of people. In Caucasoids are different from the Mongoloids and Negroids, and Negroids are different from the Caucasoids and Mongoloids. So there are special measurements, special anthropometric or smetoscopic characters which are different in these populations. So the anthropologists give this specific position to the specific population according to the anthropometric measurement and smetoscopy. So the geography or environment is the main responsible for these changes. So according to that, geology and geography help the anthropology to explain this type of thing with the help of these two subjects. Then another, anthropology and natural sciences. So chemistry and physics. So chemistry is also useful in anthropology. Biological anthropology is dependent upon the chemistry for gaining knowledge about a varieties of concepts. Numerous chemical and reagents are prepared and used for various purposes in paleoanthropology, forensics anthropology, or any other. Chemistry concepts like molarity, normality concepts are useful in anthropology. These use reagents and element detection on the fossils. Then chemistry play a very important role. Understanding about the handling and precautions to be taken while using different chemical equipments. So biochemistry and chemistry, these two subjects are very important to understand and use the concept which help the anthropologist to explain in detail, because there are a number of reagents or inorganic and organic reagents which are used by the anthropologists in their laboratories to test many things. So chemistry is very useful for the anthropologist to because if they have a knowledge about the elements, molecules or atoms of then they can easily explain the things. If they don't have a knowledge, then they're not able to explain it. So chemistry is very helpful for the anthropologist to explain everything in a brief manner. And physics also assists the anthropologist to understand because they have to visit in the different field works or different sites, archaeological sites or any anthropological sites from where they found the fossils. But then they need a special equipment for it, so they can trace or send the radiation to allot the position of that fossils which are found which they recovered from the site. So the special equipment are made by the physics. So physics is very useful for the anthropologist or archaeologist to locate the position of the fossils when they visit to the field sites or archaeological sites. And there are a number of other techniques or the other equipments are using in the laboratories that are made by the physics. So physics physics is very useful in this way, and there physics is also used in a forensic anthropology, which we will discuss in subfields of anthropology. Then another, anthropology and life sciences. So there are many subjects in the life sciences like biochemistry, ecology, biology, biophysics. So there are a number of subjects which cover the life sciences, and life sciences is very useful for the anthropologist to explain. Like, anthropology is a part of human biology. Every aspect of human biology, like genetical, through DNA extraction from the bone, anthropologists can detect the person's background. Anatomical landmarks are used by the anthropologists to determine similarities, differences, and different geographic people. By anatomical feature, fossils were measures to determine the background of that fossil. Then human biology has a very important role in anthropology, because physical anthropologists concentrate on early humans and examining the physiological, morphological, genetical, anatomical features of past, present human and human-like species. Moreover, it is also helps to determine the effect of social status and other factors on their growth and development. Right? Then ecology. Ecology is also linked with the anthropology. Ecology also helps the anthropologists to determine the environment and surrounding in which that type of people live. Human ecology deals with the interrelationship of humans with the environment. In biological anthropology, the study of human ecology is of special importance as it explores the nature and extent of human adjustment in relation to climate and other related matter. And there are different types of population live in a particular geography. So in that geography they can live, they can adapt in that geography only. If the person who is adapting in a cold climate, then it would be difficult to live in the hot climate area. So environment affects the people according to the change. So how environment impact on a person? Because if a person who is living in a hilly area, they can easily adapt the plain area environment. But if a plain area person who go to the hilly area, then they would not able to adapt in that environment. They would take some time to adapt in that environment, or they were not able to eat the food that hilly area people eat, because they have to take time to adapt in a changing environment. So these types of things are covered in the ecology. So ecology is very helpful for the anthropologists to understand these types of changes, and they analyze and even conduct a field work in different places to understand the changes and environment, how environment affect to the person, and what the advantages and disadvantages occur in the person when they're adapting in a different environment, and what are the changes that occur in their body. So these types of things are covered in the ecology. So anthropologists understand these things with the help of ecology. Then zoology. Zoology deals with the study of animals. Zoology helps the anthropologists to determine the differences between the fossils of animals and humans, because there are a number of fossils are found from the different sites. So if they have a knowledge about the different types of fossils, because the features of a fossil of animal fossils and a human fossils or human-like species have a difference. So zoology helps the anthropologists to differentiate between the two fossils, and they can easily differentiate that this fossil is not of animal and this is of human. So zoology helps in this way. So primatologists deal with the primates. It helps to differentiate between the primate fossils like a gibbon, orangutan, chimpanzee, gorilla. Not only the fossils, because primatologists study the apes' behavior, geography, in which geography they are living, and the number of fossils which are found from the sites that of apes. So the primatologists also help the anthropologists to differentiate between the apes and the human species. So primatology helps in a many ways, because their chimpanzee have a 99% characters which are similar with the humans. So these types of things are hand over to the anthropologists to understand and differentiate between the tools, between the apes and the human or human-like species. So primatology help in this way. So botany deal with the plants. Anthropology take the ideas kind of plants which privilege a community use for medical purposes, or help to anthropologists to determine the environment of fossils when archaeologists found. So there are a number of things like pollens were found from the sites. Botanists have a knowledge about the type of plants existing in today or a past. So paleontologists deal with the study of plants. However, anthropologists interlink with botany, that it helps the botany deal with the study of plants, and they help to determine the types of plants through pollens which have found from the sites. So to determine the type of plants through pollen and which are found from the sites, and if the person have a knowledge about the type of plant, if the anthropologists have a knowledge about the type of plants which are found from that sites, or the plants which are existing in which the different societies are living, so according to that they can analyze easily. So they can analyze through the environmental geography and a type of plants, because there are a number of communities like tribal societies which are dependent on depending on a different plants they are using for medicinal purposes or for curing or healing purposes. So these types of knowledge about the plants are given from the botany. So botany helps the anthropologists to understand all the different types of plants. So anthropology and humanities. So what is the difference? And humanities and anthropology are the similar subjects, because both deal with the human societies, culture. Humanities study the literature and philosophy and history and fine arts, etc. So science and humanities although have exclusive approaches, but both come together in anthropology is evident. In its concern with the culture's language, values and achievement in art, literature, oral literature among the people who lack writing. In other aspects, anthropology is close to humanities disciplines such as literature, history, fine arts. However, anthropology differs from these disciplines in the way of studying the aspects of scientific manner. Anthropologists try to understand the humanistic aspects of other culture by observing them from their eyes, living throughout with them, sharing their joys and suffering their deprivation, including sickness. Then they understand the problems of society and help to sort out that problem. So in this way anthropologists deal. But humanities use a social scientific method to understand the human societies. So but the anthropologists participate in the societies or culture in the societies to whom they want to study. Either they want to study their problems, or either they want to study their cultural traditions or the methods they are using in their societies. So how they either they study to differentiate between the complex and civilized societies. So by participate they understand their problems or understand their culture about the society to whom they want to study. But the humanities are mostly using a second-hand information, but they are focused on the quantity and using a social scientific method, but the anthropology is using the scientific method. Then anthropology and social sciences. So there are the number of subjects in social sciences like economy, economics, sociology, political science, and many more. But sociology, how sociology is different from anthropology? They both are similar types of subjects, but different in their ways of research. Sociology studies the social life of people, more particularly the social relationship, organizations and human behavior of human societies. Anthropologists of course share this interest, but There are significant conventional differences between the disciplines. Initially, sociologists were inclined to study societies and different groups within them. In the industrial West, modern or developed or urbanized people. But anthropologists, for their part, at the first work mainly among the non-industrial people, traditional or pre-literate or pre-industrial people. After that, they focus on the civilized societies. So, sociologists help the anthropologists to understand the civilized societies. Either they are studying the problems or their traditions or what is going on in the civilized society. But the anthropologists first focus on the pre-industrial, pre-literate or contemporary societies. After that, they focus on civilized society. Then they differentiate between the two. So, anthropologists for their part at first work mainly among the non-industrial people. And in order to study complex communities and societies, sociologists came to rely on a questionnaire or other technique to produce quantifiable data. Sampling and statistical methods were therefore important. The population anthropologists originally concentrated on were smaller or non-literate, mainly rural settings. Anthropologists developed qualitative research strategies. In this context, they live with the people for extending period of time and participate in their daily activities and observe at first hand and normal routine of their life. So this is the main difference between the two. Another thing, economics is very helpful for the anthropology because there are a number of other techniques, different techniques, because economists are mainly use their economic techniques. Like economic is a study of system of production, distribution and exchange at operational level. But economic anthropologists is a study how men organize their activity in solving the problem of allocation within the limits set by the physical environment and transformed by their culture, their technology and state of knowledge, their social structure and values. Economic anthropologists must also analyze the processes of how people allocate their time between the production of different categories of goods and study how goods and services distribute and exchanged, how labor is utilized and mobilized. Finally, believe that economic anthropology should be able to study the economies of different societies through common theoretical framework. The basic approach is that. So, in this way, economic anthropologists deal. So, they mostly focus and understand everything by participate. And they believe in a qualitative method, not a quantitative method. In this way, political science is also help in anthropology. If I talk about the political science, the political science study the aspects of then political activities of modern societies from political point of view as a term of legislative, executive or judiciary. But in politics, if I'll explain political anthropology, then they define a study of social basis of the distribution of power in a simple society. The primary main aim of political anthropology is to find out the relationship between the distribution of power, social differentiation like a division on the basis of age and sex, and institutionalized categories like age, grade, etc., and how the cleavage of power run in such societies. Different political anthropologists have adopted a wider notion of power. Power is not understood purely in a political categories, but in terms of social categories. Power is a view with the regard to diffuse in intersecting all spheres of social life. The aim of political anthropology lies in investigation of areas of power with reference to locus, functions and its distribution. So they main focus of primitive societies and how political system is exist in a primitive societies. There are different types of organizations, political organization in a primitive society, like a centralized or uncentralized. So bands, tribes are uncentralized and state and chiefdoms are the centralized. So they study from the primitive societies to the civilized societies, and political science helps the anthropologists to understand the politics of these tribal society, and what the punishments they are given to the criminals or any person who break the law. So these types, anthropologists understand in this way. Another thing, economics, I already explained this. And what is anthropology and demography, and how demography help the anthropology, and what is a demography? Demography is the science of population. The nature of population is studied through the factors like earth, birth, death, migration, growth, special background of the time. Studies are conducted through the statistical method. Various statistical data are collected on the features of population and stated through the systematic analysis of the data. The nature of population is broad because number of surveys are conducted every 4 years, or different statistical methods or survey methods are conducted by the government to analyze about the birth rate, death rate, migration rate, literacy rate of particular population or particular countries. Different countries have their different literacy or population rate or birth rate, death rate. So special surveys are conducted. So anthropologists deal with the help of demography to understand about the different populations, literacy rate, birth rate, death rate, or a migration rate, and understand about the population changes according to this, and they understand in which earth rate different according to the ages, in which age there is a maximum or minimum birth rate, and what is the reason behind that. So there is another field that deal with the demography, that is epidemiology. So epidemiology is the main aim of anthropology is to spread awareness among the masses about different discoveries taking place where are in one way or the other associated with the human health and behavior, common people about various diseases and health challenges that could be faced by majority of people in near future due to changes in lifestyle and rapid transition from the active to sedentary lifestyle. So epidemiology's main help to aware the people about the different techniques and about different diseases or different medicines which are come in the company, which are come in the societies, so to circulate in the primitive societies, because anthropologists are mainly deal with the primitive society, because primitive society people don't have enough knowledge about the diseases, and then anthropologists will and help the these primitive societies to aware about the different diseases and help to use these types of medicines are helpful for cure this disease. So in this way anthropology and demography deals. And what is the difference, how forensic science and anthropology deal with each other? Because forensic science, skeleton biology, concentrates on the study of anatomical modern human primarily from archaeological sites and aim to understand the disease and condition these past native experience prior to dying. Forensic anthropology is dealing with the past remains that are found from the site. It also uses the study of skeleton biology to assist in the identification and analysis of more recently diseased individuals. In forensic sciences such as dermatographic, ballistic, DNA analysis are used for solving numerous situations. Such cases often involve complex legal considerations. Paleopathology is also a part of forensic anthropology. Is a study of disease in the remains of organism with its human and other remains from the archaeological sites. It is highly associated with the bioarchaeology, study of human remains from the archaeological site. Archaeology and anthropology aiming to reconstruct the histories of diseases over long period of time by placing biological evidence, their cultural context to explain the patterning scenes. So according to that, forensic anthropology have a different departments like chemistry, physics, DNA department, biology department, which help the forensic anthropologists to investigate the fossils, and there are many crime scenes occur in different places. So number of decomposed or burnt bodies which are handed over to the anthropologists so that they can investigate about that accused person and give the justice to that accused person. And because there are many questions which anthropologists have to cover. What is the ethnicity of that person? Either this is a body of a human or a animal. These fossils are of human or animal. And what is the age of that person? What is the structure of that person? What is the ethnicity of that person? What is the gender of that person? So this is the main questions which anthropologists have to cover and investigate. And after that, they investigate about the clues or fossils of that body which are found from the different sites. So the different departments of forensic science help the forensic anthropologists to deal and investigate in a detail. Thank you.